joining us to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Good day, sir. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Vimbai. Good afternoon, Hawa. Good afternoon, Timmy Tokwe.
Good afternoon.
Yes, let's get through this review with this day. Starting with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story reports Nigeria's $15.7 billion 2022 fuel subsidy projection to exceed all 36 states' budgets. Monthly stolen oil equivalent to budgets of Osun, Kwara, Ekiti. NNPCL loses $700 million monthly to crude oil theft. Wants quick legal framework, stiffer sanctions for criminals. Yes, old story, familiar story. The shame of a nation. Because the amount spent on fuel subsidy, of course, this report put together by Financial Derivatives, the chief executive of this company happens to be one of a member of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, and putting this report out there. If we are not convinced, anybody who is not convinced about the magnitude of the amount of money spent on subsidy, yes, this report, the total budget of 36 states of the Federation in 2021 is the equivalent we're going to use to subsidize fuel for the year 2022. What can be more damning for an economy? Country that is complaining, a government that is complaining of paucity of funds to execute critical projects that will impact on the lives of the people, spending this amount on subsidy just because the government of the day failing to find the courage to do the needful. Of course, oil theft is also there. $700 million every month being lost to oil theft, according to the NNPCL. Yes, in addition to security challenges that also hamper production of crude to the extent that we are not able to meet our OPEC quota as a nation from 1.8 million barrels a day. Now we're talking of 970. That's where the nation is because of crude oil theft, of course, challenges, security challenges faced by some oil companies who are in the business of producing crude oil. Not a good commentary for the nation. But there are other problems also in the sector. Now, the story, the front page of Business Day, yes, 160 days to pause. Buhari sidestep. Buhari sets up another advisory group on economy. Yes. Well, with less than 160 days before the next election, President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed yet another high-level committee to advise him on the myriad of challenges facing Nigeria, and if unresolved, could make his legacy painful to the Nigerian people. But some are questioning why another economic advisory body. Of course, the chairman of the advisory council, who happens to be the chief economic advisor to the president, is a member of this committee. So you wonder, what is this committee supposed to do? What will they do differently? But Atedo Peterside, of course, well-known, retired banker, and a voice, one of the voice of reason, the economy and polity. He's saying that, what are you setting up this committee for? Because the problems, they are well-known problems. You don't need any special knowledge to identify this problem. And he pointed out what is lacking in leadership is sincerity and courage. Yes.
Very.
Like the courage to take that tough decision to remove fuel subsidy. And the President Muhammadu Buhari had decided to kick the can down the road to the next government. So if you don't have the courage to do the needful, setting up one council or one committee after another, it's like just beating around the bush. Yes. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, CBN kicks as banks feed fat on excess charges, illegal debits. I'm sure you have stories to tell.
Mr. Effendi, let's not even
all
do
kinds
that.
of alerts coming from the banks, and Nigerians just take this in their stride, but the banks are making millions. Well, CBN should do its work, but let's look at another story that concerns the CBN. Below the photograph, 2 weeks after, most foreign airlines yet to access trapped funds. Yes, economy seat now goes for 2 million to 5 million naira. 2 weeks after the Central Bank of Nigeria approved the release of $265 million as part of the trapped funds of foreign airlines operating in the country, most of the airlines are yet to access the fund, according to the investigation carried out by the Daily Independent newspaper. Perhaps CBN need to activate, because it made that promise that that amount will be made available so that those airlines that are planning to stop their Nigerian operations will not do so. Now, the Guardian newspaper, Ekiti, Osun Post, more questions, trail INEC server hacking claims. Oni, we are vindicated. Ekiti elections came short of what it should be. Cyber attacks, a common phenomenon. Of course, the alarm raised by INEC chairman that there were attempts to hack the portal of INEC is something that should raise the alarm for everybody. But we hope INEC is on top of its game, because Nigerians will not want to hear that the general election coming up in 2023 will be marred by, hackers did this and that. So, well, that's why we have the tech experts. INEC has to be on top of the game, that despite, of course, people will try to sabotage, but INEC, putting the right technology, using the right personnel, experts, to ensure that they don't succeed. That's what Nigerians expect, nothing less. The Nation newspaper, 210 days after federal government asked court to stop ASU strike, plenty seek order against lecturers to return to work. Yes, the federal government gone to the industrial court. If the court rules against the government, will the government obey? If the court rules against ASU and asks them to go to work, will they obey? Well, we'll just wait and see the outcome of that case in the court. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, Catholic bishops direct churches to beef up security, says Nigeria in darkest moment. Now, the foreign newspapers quickly, the Daily Telegraph, her last great journey, the Daily Telegraph of UK, Yes, King's words to the nation resonate with people of Scotland during, lining the roads to pay their last respect. Of course, the body of the Queen making its last journey. And the Daily Telegraph of UK calls it her last great journey. Of course, the King Charles III addressed Parliament, joined Parliament today. And of course, he's saying that, of course, I will follow Queen Elizabeth's great example. Yes.
We surely hope he does, and the whole world is watching either way. Thank you so much for coming in to review the papers with us, Mr.